Hi everyone. I am just jumping on here to make a video on how to do a Pinterest board. Um, the first thing you have to do is sign up for an account. So I'm thinking that it's pretty self-explanatory. You can do it through Facebook or you can just set it up yourself. Once you get on it, um, you're going to search. So there's always a search bar, and if you search preschool activities. So let's say you're looking for social studies activities and you just entered preschool social studies activities. And then you're going to get a bunch of ideas. The first thing you have to do is really pull them up and then think about age appropriate. So let's say I picked this one, and it kind of talks about the children have to draw, but it talks about our street, our city, our state, our country, our continent, our planet. In our conversation about social studies, we talked about how none of this is important to a preschooler. So this would not be a developmentally appropriate activity. So keep looking. So click back on the other ones and see another inappropriate activity. So then you're going to, let me enter again, preschool social studies activities, but you're going to look at those through that lens. What is, so here's, um, so you're just going to look through, we talked about feelings being, this is not preschool. We talked about feelings being an idea. A community made out of blocks would be a good one. So if you pulled that one up, so let's say you made roads and you built like the street that the school is on out of blocks with streets around it. Okay. So you could save that one and justify that as a preschool activity. So you're going to push in the corner the save button. It's going to look like this, and it's going to ask you to name your board. So what I'm asking you is to do one in social studies, one in dramatic play, one in sensory, and you have to look at the other assignment for them. I don't really know them offhand. So I could enter here social studies, and create the board. What it's going to do is it's going to save the pin for social studies in a folder called social studies. My account is right here. So this is me. You can look at it. And then it shows who I'm following. So I follow different people's boards of different preschool ideas, and they just give you all of these. So if you saw like this one and you wanted to save this as a sensory, you could click on it, you could save it, and then you could say what board you want to save it. Oops, that's not supposed to happen. So choose board. So for some reason, I think this must not be I think I have two accounts. One of them is empty, the other one is full. So I could name this sensory, and it would save it in a folder called sensory. Then if you saved another one in sensory, so if we go and we find another one, and I prefer you not do all Play-Doh, just because we're going to be doing a unit in Play-Doh in art, because if you think about it, art is really, clay and making making pottery or whatever with clay or Play-Doh is a type of art. Sensory is more experiences like the dough that we made that's multi-sensory in class. That wouldn't be something you build something out of. It's more for the smell and the feel of it. So while it's not wrong, it's just there's other things. So let's look here. This is a sensory bag. So if I wanted to save this, I would select what folder I'd want to do it in. And there should be a sensory folder in here, select. So I'm going to say save. There should be sensory because I just made it. But so then it's going to save it in sensory. Here, so create. Maybe I just didn't do it last time. Could not, so I already have a board that So here it says could not save board, try a different board name. So it just gives you, you can go back and save it in your sensory one. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to have to look at this to figure out. This is the account I use. That's why. Okay, this is the one I usually, so this is what my boards look like. This is my, my Pinterest account. So if you look through here, I have things like I have something called holidays, teachers' thoughts. This is actually my personal one, so you can ignore what you don't like. But like here's my sensory board, and here's all my sensory activities. So you can go on here, look at my sensory ideas, and then say, hey, I really like this giant water beads because look at them, they're really cool. I mean, they're as big as the kid's hands, and you can save it. Mine's going to tell me I already have it because it's from my board, but you can save my idea into your sensory folder. So feel free to go into my account. Again, my name is Emily Lippo Pink, and I've noticed some of you have been including me or tagging me or messaging me, which is great. Let's see. So this is probably there. So here's Stephanie's. She saved a pin to her ECE sensory. So Stephanie is probably saving everything as ECE sensory, ECE dramatic play. So that's how she's doing, which is fantastic. Good work, Stephanie. So that's how you kind of navigate it. There's no really wrong way to do Pinterest. Just messing around with it. The most important thing is this save on all of them, and you can click on any of them. If you did click on one of these and let's say you wanted to make edible water beads, and you decided to save it. So here's save. Oh, I didn't want it saved to Sophie. Anyways, this is why it gets kind of, you have to figure it out. But if you clicked on it, then everything underneath it is going to be other ideas that they've found for you. So they're going to say, hey, she's interested in sensory. So let me try all of these to see if they're things that she would like too. And then you can choose them and say, hey, I want to make edible water bottle. So I'm going to save that, and this is why it's Sophie, because that's my daughter, so she was probably on my computer. So, or no, I know what it is. I made a folder for my daughter, so I save it under Sophie to give her the ideas. But here's all my boards. So I could just choose to put this, so I would put this under sensory, so then I have a lot of boards because I've had this for a while. But I would go to if I wanted to save it in sensory, I would just say, I would save it in sensory. So that saved it into my sensory folder. And then there's even more stuff underneath it because it's going to keep doing that. It's going to keep trying to find things that you like. So I would say, ooh, I want to save this in my sensory board too. And it's going to come up with the last one you saved, but now it just saved it to my sensory board. So that's kind of how you do it. Now, if you're having any problems with it, don't worry about it. I extended, Mallory was asking me questions, and I had told her I would get a video out sooner. So as a compromise to her, I said that I would extend the due date another week. So I'll give you till next week. It's not really, it's an assignment you have to do before the end of the semester, because you're going to cover all the areas of curriculum that we're talking about, and we haven't even started art yet. We start that on Tuesday. So I'm completely fine if you come to class and ask questions or you email me or whatever it is, and I can help you out with it. I do have to tell you that I will not be in class on Tuesday night. My husband gave me concert tickets on Tuesday night. I didn't even realize they were on a Tuesday night, but for my birthday back in September. So we're going to a concert on Tuesday night. So a colleague of mine, Linda Benchwell, is going to be substituting for the class. So she's going to be doing art with you. She's fantastic. She's my mentor. I adore her. I think you guys will really enjoy her. And then, so if you have questions, you can ask her. You can always email me. Just send me an email and just say, hey, this is my question. Be specific about what you're struggling with, because otherwise it's hard to help if I don't know what it is, what part of you're having problems with. Okay. So remember, it's not due for another week. Please don't panic. It's not supposed to be difficult. If you're struggling, we can certainly work on it together. Okay? Have a fantastic Sunday evening.